All right, so last night I sent everybody the results from the practice test. I also posted it on eClass in the same place that you would have found the practice test yesterday. You can see how you did, and you can also see a link to the retake, just like I've done in the past with all other retakes. You'll have 2 days, so you'll have today and tomorrow to go back and retake it. If, as long as you took the original test yesterday, you can take the retake as many times as you want. Which would mean that I see no reason why everybody here should not get 100 on the retake, but a lot of times people just don't get around to it. So I take whatever you get on the retake, I take what you got yesterday, and I average it. If you did not take the one yesterday, so more so my 7th period, but anybody who didn't get a score, you can only take it once. Because you'll be taking it after I go over a bunch of these. There were 22 problems yesterday, and I'm about to go over, I'm going to give you the answer to 15 of them. And these are the ones missing also. Hey, you know what's funny? Let's start with this one. This one nobody got right. Not one person in the class got this one right. I didn't even need this first one, but okay, why not? Let's start there. There's another first one, so just find it in your packet. If the people that are here in person have a printout with all of these, if you're at home, I would go to your school email and locate what I sent you last night, and you can go over. Quick review of the rest of the week. What are we doing tomorrow? Who remembers? Kahoot, good. Tomorrow's a Kahoot. I'll give you the same incentive. It's been a while since we've done one, but I'll give you the same incentive where I'll give you the top 3. They'll get a boost on their weekly assignment grade, depending on where you finish. Thursday is going to be, that's the real test, and we're down to just 3 tests, so planning on picking up your grade. 3 tests left to do it, those are the good ones. And then Friday we'll start the next unit. I want to say there's 4 weeks, like it's this week and 3 more weeks until Turkey Day break.
Turkey Day week, what?
The third one earlier.
Well, today's the 27th.
What?
That starts like on the 23rd, I think, of November. Lies.
Nope.
Well, I'll look at it later. But I want to say, I think it's this week and 3 more. I just said otherwise. And then next week there's no school Tuesday.
Hmm? No school on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm putting in a writing vote for Sam Huerta Hernandez.
You did not want me to be president. I would just start and like.
Well, you're not old enough. I think you gotta be 35.
Thank you.
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's the middle of age.
Yeah, I'm double that age.
Anywho, all right. So we did a few like this on the notes, so this shouldn't have been an issue for anybody. They want the standard equation, which means I need the center and the radius, but they're giving you endpoints of a diameter. So let's see. Let's say -6, 4, and then let's say 4, 4, -6. I think when I did this originally, I did it backwards. I think we found the radius first, and then we went and found the and then we went and found the center. But let's do the center first. It's easier. How do we find the center? That's an easy one. Okay. Nobody got this one right. Okay, so let's build on that word choice. That the middle. What math word sounds like middle?
Midpoint.
Midpoint. Use midpoint formula, which means the center. The center is going to be at the x's, which is 4 minus 6. What? Wait, you just said add and you're subtracting. Yeah, what are the x's negative? 4 minus 6 over 2, add the y's, -16 plus 4 over 2. So my center is going to be -2 divided by 2 is -1. -12 divided by 2, -6. So that's -12. So I haven't done anything hard yet. Where's the center going to be? Which is one of these? Oh, I guess they both could be. Well, I've already eliminated 2 of the put it that way. So worst case, there should have been a 50-50 guess And I haven't done anything that I would consider to be overly challenging. Okay? Okay. Now the next thing is, it's not that it's hard, but you gotta have a good understanding. Because I'm about to find the diameter. But I don't need the diameter, what do I need? Yeah, I need the radius. Keep that in mind. To find the diameter, I'm gonna use distance formula. Okay, which is to subtract the x's. So -6 minus 4. -6 minus 4. This obviously becomes a lot easier if I get a perfect square. I don't know what we're going to do. Plus, subtract the y's and square. So 4 plus 16. What? Well, Mr. Romero, you just said subtract. And look at you. You're adding. Well, because I'm subtracting a negative. So we get distance is, this is going to be -10 squared plus 20. So my distance is 100 plus 400. So it's going to be square root of 500 is my diameter. And I know that's tricky and blah, 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 but I feel like I'm not done yet. So I don't need to round. Just leave it like that. Yes, there's a way to simplify radical. You can find how to simplify radical in algebra 1. You don't even have to right now. That's going to get rid of itself eventually, because remember, in this formula here, whichever one is the two that's going to be, this here stands for r squared. So that square is going to eventually get rid of the square root. So, but tell me, if that's my like, what is the relationship between a radius and a diameter?
Radius is half.
Radius is half. Okay, so we just take the square root in half. So if that's my diameter, then my radius is square root of 500 over 2. So then once, now, see, that's it. This is the radius. If the question only said find radius, that's the radius. Yes, they might ask you to round, in which case you would use a calculator. Yes, you might have to simplify the radical, okay, which involves doing the tree, the factor tree. But here it's none of those. We're not just being asked for the radius, we're being asked to plug it back in. So if I were to plug it in here and square it, we can square each one. What happens when I square square root of 500, as previously described? If I square a square root, what happens? If I square a square root, what happens? Hey, that's good. Thank you. It does disappear, right? But I also have to square the 2. What's 2 squared? Oh, he said the radical disappears. So then, and what happens when I square the 2? It is going to be 4. And what's 500 divided by 4? 125. Everything that's on here was 59% or worse, but this was the worst one. This was 0%. You can argue it's the hardest one, I guess, if you want to. But what about somebody, especially if it's multiple choice? Like, what are the odds of everybody getting it wrong? Right? No, any questions here? Katie? Identify the radius of the circle. Use completing the square so they even help you out. They're trying to complete the square. And they want to know what ends up being radius. So we want to put all the x's, the x squares and the y squares, and basically all the terms that have a variable, we want to put it on the same side. So this has to go this way, this has to go that way, the 8 has to go back over here. So the negative 8x will move over by adding it. The y squared would stay. The 2y would come over by subtracting it. And on the other side, I would get negative 8. Now they're asking us for radius. Remember, that's going to be over here. That's on this side. It's going to be actually the square root of whatever ends up on that side. That's all they're asking. Identify the radius. How do we complete the square? How do we complete the square?
So I have a missing. The 8 is divided by 2 in the square.
Divide by 2 and square. Divide by 2 and square.
then you add those to the.
So these are being added here. That's great, but what's more important is that they're being added here. That gives me 9. Does that mean 9 is the radius? That means 9 is the number that would show up there if it was an equation. If you're writing a whole equation, then 9 would end up there. But this 9 represents r squared. I don't want r squared, I want r. So r equals 2. Any questions? This might have been the only free, there might have been, this was maybe one more, but there weren't many free response. Almost everything was multiple choice, right? Oh, you already looked thumbs out, man. You okay? Got you down? Alright. I mean, this one, I don't want you to guess, but I mean, even if you were flipping a coin and guessing, it would be 50-50. I guess it kind of was. This was probably around 50. But it shouldn't be, because this point line on the circle, we did this. Remember when we did inside, on, or outside the circle? How can I do so algebraically? It starts with a sub and ends with a substitution.
Substitute.
Yeah, substitution. Plug this in for x, plug this in for y. 0 squared plus negative 8 squared. Does it give you 64? It sure does, because when you square a negative, gives you a positive. Since they are equal, yes. Or C. Huh? When you check your email, you'll see if you got it right or wrong. Always good to check the emails, because occasionally, from time to time, there might be a mistake in the key or something. And Miranda found a mistake in the key once here. I have a girl selling period that did off. I think I've done like about 2 mistakes so far this year. So it's always good to check and see. I try to check, but it's easy. Oh yeah, there weren't many density problems. I think all of them ended up here. Maybe one of them didn't. My question to you is it because density is harder, or because it was what we did the furthest back? Because we did this on Monday of last week. You tell me, any thoughts? Is it because it's the hardest, or just because we did it? It's the least recent. Either? Yeah, I would think it was because it was the furthest, which tells me that we're not really studying. The mass of an object is 137.8. It gives you the volume of it. What is the density to the nearest hundred? Okay, remember that density on the very first page that we went over said that it's some type of measurement. It could be anything. Okay, this population is like a very common one, over either volume or area. This is measuring mass and volume. So which one's going to go on the top? If the two things we have there are the two units that we have are mass and volume, which one's going on top? The mass. The mass would go on top, volume would go on the bottom. On the bottom is either a volume or an area. So this would be 137.8 over 260. Guessing is one of the first ones. I know. The first one here has a and then what's the nearest 100? 137.8 divided by 216. And I'm getting 63.7, so the nearest would be. It's also tested your ability to round. That's in bed today.
Monday. Is it Monday?
It's not Monday.
No.
We were in school yesterday. Tuesday.
No.
Alright. English thought it was Thursday. That's gonna be worse too. A spherical tank is filled with water. It has a diameter of 10 feet. So sphere. and it has a diameter of 10 feet. If the water weighs, think of this, 62 pounds per cubic foot, 62.4 pounds per cubic foot. Pounds is a type of,
Measurement.
what type of measurement? What are you measuring? Mass, right? Cubic feet is a type of, cubic feet is a type of, no,
Volume.
volume. So they're already giving you the density. So then they want to know what is the total weight of the water to the nearest pound. So they're already dividing, this is actually proportion. So 62.4 over 1. So they've already divided it for you. But then they say, okay, but if we can, the question is, what is the weight of the water? So weight would go up here where the mass is. But in order to do that, we would need to know, and there's more than one way to write this equation, but I think this is the easiest one. We need the actual volume. So we need to use, if we don't need diameter, what's the radius of that?
5.
Yeah, it's 5. So the volume here would be 4 pi 5 cubed over 3. 5 cubed is 125 times 4, so it's 500 pi over 3. Because, yeah, because the thing is, you're putting a fraction into a fraction. But the thing is, how do you solve a proportion? You cross multiply, and once you cross multiply, then it's gone. And look, and the nice thing is when you go this way, what's 1 times W? W. I already have the weight they're asking for. All I need to know is what is 62.4 times 500 pi over 3. And this looks rounded, there's no pi's here, so 62.4 times 500 times pi. And they don't tell you to use 6.4. Divided by 3, I'm getting this one here. Any questions there? Katie, I'm confused if they see it. No, you like Tony Stewart? You like colors? The table below shows the population and land area. So this population density, which one has the highest population density? So this divided by this, this divided by this, this divided by this, this divided by this. I'm not gonna go dividing everyone. That's just a calculated thing. I believe the answer ended up being Donutville.
Yeah.
Here, let's check. I mean, like, I'm not doing anything out of this world, it's just dividing. So 3, I'm gonna do them on the calculator, I'm not gonna write them on the board. You can come along with me. I got, 268.5 here. 208.07 divided by 684.6. 303.8, so what allowance thing, because they want the highest one. 198.865 divided by 7.1.2. 275.7. Still not winning so far. It's very real still. 195.994 divided by 636.9. That would give me 319.2, ladies and gentlemen. And Mohammed will have a new winner. Now they have these fancy donut shops where they'll give you like donuts. Donuts around this. Pretty much putting bacon on everything nowadays. Given the equation below, what would be the number that is filled in after the negative 12y? So this is just practicing with making sure you know how to complete the square. If we focus on these, that would be the negative 12 over 2. What's negative 12 divided by 2? Zero. So it's negative 6.
Oh,
But
that was
then,
it.
but then when you square it,
Yeah.
that becomes. Maybe you do karate or that's just like a straight. Sam does Muay Thai. No, they both do. That's Muhammad. Yeah. You know how to do the what they call like a 1-inch punch?
No.
Right.
I think that's one thing.
I got it.
The points are the endpoints of the diameter of a circle. What is the equation of the circle? Alright, so this is kind of like the one that everybody missed. But these are the endpoints of a diameter. What are the two things we need for the equation? Center and radius. Let's do the easy one. Let's do center. 2 plus 2 over 2, comma, I think everything's positive here. 2 plus 8 over 2. So this gives me 2 comma 5. 2 comma 5 is the center. It looks like the first two have that center. The last two don't. Positive, so I'm not typing any of these. One of those last two. I need to now find the diameter and then cut it in half. And then square it. So distance formula says subtract the x and I work on that. I like that. Zero's like my favorite number. Because what's anything times 0? What's anything plus 0? Itself. Yeah. I love 0. That's so cool. So really all we get here is the square root of negative 6 squared. When you square negative 6, you get positive 36, but then when you square root it, you get positive 6. That's the diameter. What's the radius? And the radius is 3. What am I going to see on the other side? Thank you. Is that Jordan that said something? Downstairs. Jordan's in another country right now. He's in Madagascar. Oh.
I'm saying hi to Tunju from
He's doing it in Madagascar? Is that the lion?
no.
That's Alex. I think that was his name, right?
That's the one.
I mean, this one's pretty simple. There's not much work to do. It's just substitution. Katie, which one would the center be? Just without looking at the choices, just tell me what the center would be. Like, what would like the left side look like? Yeah, x minus 7 squared plus very good squared. So that knocks out these two. And then the thing on the other side is you gotta remember this gets squared. But really, like, 9 shouldn't have been a tempting offer because when you square root of 3, I mean, you shouldn't. I could see maybe some people putting square root of 3 in there, but not. And that's not even a choice. So the only thing it could be is square root of cancels. As King Ferris says. Can you say hi to Ferris? You can't see him, but you can see you. He says she wants you to come back to school, Ferris. Everybody here wants you to come back to school. Standard equation of the circle. Where's the center there?
Nice.
The center?
Yeah, where's the center? 0, negative 1. That's the first thing I'm looking at. And then the radius, you can just count it. You don't have to do anything fancy. The radius is 2. Now, you know when a center has a coordinate of 0, you don't need the parentheses, so I'm not expecting to see a parenthesis with the x's. So that knocks that one out. For the y's, I should be seeing y plus 1, so that knocks this out. So now the only thing left, see, like, that's when I can see where you would make a careless mistake on the radius side. Because not gonna be 3. Remember that when you put it into the equation, you have to square it. The equation says r squared, so which one's the answer? A like apple. Alright, and then we already did the next one. Put that one in your pocket. Write the standard equation of a circle with a center and radius. Alright. When you see a coordinate of 0, you know there's no parentheses. But okay, none of those y's either, so that's good. You know that the x, because this is 4, is going to have to be x minus 4. So that knocks these two out. And then, remember, you got to square the radius when you substitute. What does a square do to a square root? Cancels it out. Be like a dome. Have you ever been to Los Angeles, Orlando? You were born in Korea? You like it better here or over there? All right, so what's the equation of this circle? Where's the center?
-3,
No, you're very crazy. Look at the
Oh,
one
wait,
right.
I was looking at the wrong one.
Where's that center at? Quickly you answer, quickly we finish. Watch the digits?
Where, yeah, where?
Did that not come out on yours? It has to.
That's on the, it's 0, 0.
Is it really? Oh, maybe I clicked and dragged something on mistake. Sorry about that. It's on the first page. Yeah, 0, 0. What's El Radio? Big radius.
Radio or
And the
It's a little bit off like the screen.
Oh, that's the one.
Have you guys seen that thing too? The radius is 4. So I'm not looking for any parentheses. Now don't get this is where I help you out here. Don't get to remember. And what has to be in between the x's and the y's? A plus, because that comes from Pythagorean theorem, so don't get confused by that. But then remember, when we're looking on this side, we need to square the 16. So, okay.
I put D.
D is for no. Write the standard equation of the circle, alright? This is what, -3, -2 is the center. The radius you can just count. This is one too. And I guess now we're back in order. I must have like dragged the slide by mistake at the beginning.
Yeah.
Put it back on. So we're looking for an x plus 3 and a y plus 2. So that knocks out these. And then when you square 3, you get 9. I didn't do anything fancy to find the radius, I just counted boxes. Radius 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're checking your answers? 2 left. Those knots. Write the standard equation of the circle. Okay, well see here at least they're giving you the center and then a point on the circle. What do we call a segment that connects the center with a point on the circle? It was A like apple.
Oh, yeah.
No, Ferris was asking me the whole philosophy. What do you call a segment from the center to the outside of a circle? A radius. Good. So now they're already giving me the center, so that's good. I don't have to do anything special to find the center, but when I find this distance, that distance is already going to be the radius. So we use this formula like they do in the hood. Subtract the x's. -17, but then it's plus 15, so that changes the sign. Squared. Oh, nice. Alright. 5 minus 5 is 0. So that cancels out. So my radius is -2 squared, and the square root of it is -2. Here's a fun fact. When it comes to like computer programming and stuff and writing scripts, computers don't, well, now they probably, like, they found a way to kind of do shortcuts, but like traditionally, computers did not understand the logic between absolute value. You guys know what absolute value is? You take a number, you call it right, and this is 0. So this is the way that sometimes that computer programmers would have to define an absolute value. That they would take a number squared and then take the square root of it. Now that's the radius, so what number are we going to see on the other side of the equation? I'm not going to see a 2, what are we going to see?
4.
Yeah, 4. So we're looking at x plus 15 and y. It can't be these two because of the left side.
It's not 8.
And then c like cat. Meow. And finally the last one. Which graph represents it? So we're looking for a center here at 0, -3 with a radius of?
4.
No.
8.
No.
16.
No.
2.
2, good.
Oh.
Gotta go the other way, square root. So 0, -2, yeah, A looks good so far. Look at it. Has to be.
No.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, you're right, I'm sorry, I read it. Sometimes I think I have like a dyslexia. Yeah, sorry, 0, -3. The y is -3, sorry. Here, this one. Sorry about that. I don't know why I read it. Any questions? Alright, at home and here, even though we're not in the same place, the time works the same way. That gives us 18 minutes to kind of do stuff on your own. I would suggest you guys maybe try. I just gave you 15 of the answers. Out of 22, you can log into a computer if you want to work on that retake. You can work on a weekly homework assignment. So what are we doing tomorrow? So tomorrow when you guys get here, just walk in, sit down at the computer, get ready. I'll have the code ready for you and all that stuff. All right, people at home, any questions?